I'm Mustafa came back and once again her Todd's video, the Sonic 3 review. Today, I'm back from my whatever I was doing temporarily, and I decided to see the Sonic movie. I was like excited about it. Jim Carrey playing Dr. Gerald Robotnik and Eero Robotnik at the same time. Look interesting, looks great. Keanu Reeves, from what I've heard, I would have preferred somebody else to play Shadow, but from what I've heard, he sounds alright. It seems like an interesting plot. It seems they can go many places. Robotnik discovering his grandfather, so on and so on. What happens to Maria, Shadow, and so on and so on. But overall, the movie's not good. It's not good at all. It just might be a 5. Just a 5. Because throughout this whole movie, the pacing and tone of this movie is all over the place. I half the time I didn't know what I was watching, jerking in my chair, just like, what's happening? Dance sequences out of nowhere. Like, what's with all the extra comedy? So to start off, it starts off with Shadow breaking out of the gun prison, on which he had armed restraints at the teaser of Sonic 2. What's another thing? Sonic 2 is way better than this one. Way better. The plot is written way better. Knuckles, Robotnik, all that other stuff written way better. But what happened to the armed restraints and so on? So I guess that's retcon out of existence. He's in Liquid now, and he breaks out, fight the gun agents, and it turns out, well, guys. Shadow he can chaos control without any chaos emeralds. It's never elaborated upon. It's never explained. It's just so on and so on. And it's a similar problem I had with Sonic 2, how they never address the Tails things, or Knuckles, or what Sonic comes from, or so on and so on. It's never addressed, never elaborated on, never does so and so. But I can still say Sonic 2 is an overall good movie. This one, no. No way. So he escapes to catch up with Team Sonic and Tom and his wife. They're going out camping. And before we realize they're going out camping, they trick Sonic with tail holograms, on which he used the holograms in the last movie, right? So it's not implausible for this to happen, right? But it's just you never thought, like at any point later on, to use those holograms. Okay, Tails. Alright, Miles, probably. Okay. It's never explained where Tails comes from. Never explained. Or it's never explained how Knuckles get to where he is. I guess he's just got rings and they can use them like Sonic does. It's never elaborated on. But hey, if Sonic beat Earth Day when he showed up to Earth, so on and so on, you get to see Sonic's old cave. And this is what the themes of the movie is: beating over your head with a sludge hammer. My goodness, it's not about the past, what makes you who you are. It's about what you have. It's about how you choose to live your life and what's inside your heart to be who you truly are. And you have this statement related to it, not just once, twice, 4, 5, 6 different times, blatantly. We got the point already. Shadow's gonna turn around. He's gonna become a good guy. Jesus, it's like, how many times you gotta say it? It's just hammering over your head with a bat. We get this flashback with Tom. We get Maria saying it as well. We get so-and-so. We get Jerk Robot. How many people do we need to say this crap? Damn. Shit. But from that point, we catch up with Shadow, who's the gun prison inside Tokyo. And when did they have a Tokyo location? Nobody knows. And also, there is no space colony arc at all. And also, Maria don't have some type of disease either. But we'll get to all that stuff. So we catch up. We get this excellent Shadow shot, because when Tom says, no, I think it was Tom on Sonic who asked, "I wonder what I'd be like if I didn't have those things." And we have an image of Shadow walking in the rain, looking vicious, looking savage. And which there's multiple times in this movie where the CGI looks somewhat strange, or a case with what is his name? With Jim Carrey. When he's playing Gerald, there's one point where it's like before the gun part. I don't know, when he first meets Gerald, like most of the movie, you can't tell that is Jim Carrey playing the same character, so on and so on. But there's one particular shot where it looks like he was just edited in there, and it looks like a YouTube quality type video where they edit somebody in. Similar to how the case with Shadow in the Rain, it looks alright, but compared to that beat shot between Knuckles and Sonic from the last movie, or the CGI over on the last movie, just like strange. But Shadow realizes by a 2024 thing in Tokyo that he's been asleep for 50 years. 50 years he's been taking his nap, and now he's back out on the prowl, so on and so on. So in this case, Gun attacks Shadow again, and they realize they can't take on Shadow. They call in Team Sonic. Now, one thing you realize about this movie is the pacing of this movie is it's like One Punch Man season 2, like Garo versus Tank Top Master or some shit. Just like right off the bat, one, two, three, four, five, for no reason. Like this easily could have been a 2-hour solid movie. What's the rush? I don't understand. I don't get it. What's the rush, man? What's the rush? Don't really sit down on nothing. So they go Team Sonic, get into the helicopter with Gun, leave Tom and them, and they're glad not to be a part of this adventure this time around. They get to do other things, right? So, out of nowhere, the Gun helicopter shows up in Tokyo through a ring. One problem. Did Team Sonic use that ring? Did the Gun know how to use rings? It's never. They just show up. Okay. And then on top of that, the person that was introduced to the lady from Gun, I can't remember her name. The scene plays out with Team Sonic in a helicopter. They're talking and interacting and stuff like she's not even there. There's no updates, mission briefings, no nothing. They're not telling them anything of what's happening. Nothing. They know nothing was going on. They're just going in there blind. Why? For no reason. So then right before they jump off the plane, she shows up. She shows up. So she was there the whole time and didn't debrief them on nothing. And it sounds like, well, you know, he did an excellent quote before he hopped out of the helicopter. I forgot what it was. It was a great quote. Something about, you know, I didn't want to be in the helicopter anyway, or so and so, or it's just like it's just a cramped helicopter, something like that. It was amazing line. But they all hop on, and they play that. They do a lot of homages to the old Sonic games and use that as part of the soundtrack. I don't hate it, but they had their audacity to blast "Live and Learn" in one of the worst ways I've ever seen. So they show up, and this we get the whole big trailer scene where they get introduced to Shadow. And, you know, Knuckles cracks his joke that he's more impressive than the previous Hedgehog. They try to talk it out with him, but, you know, Shadow make a good point. You hopped out of the Gun helicopter. We don't have anything to discuss.
You jumped out of a Gun helicopter. There's nothing to talk about.
So Knuckles hops in. He gets folded like a lawn chair. And then Tails get taken. No. They picks up Knuckles, and then they try to attack him as a team. And Sonic's like they can't take him as a team, and then he does. And then he gets on a motorcycle. It just so happened to be black and red, and he picks up a laser pistol. Where did he get it from? Nobody knows. So we get to see Shadow with the gun on the bike. I wish they could have came up with a better way to write in the script of how he got it. I have no problem with him getting a random bike or just riding one. It's just, I don't know. It's because I enjoyed it, but it was strange how they set it up. So he blasts off on the motorcycle, and Sonic catches up with him, and, you know, still trying to talk to him. And this is where a scene from the trailers is always strange, where Shadow goes up the building, and then he hops down from the bike, and they clash midair. I've always thought that looked strange. It still is strange, but after the clash, you know, Sonic gets put into the titanium handcuffs, and, you know, he loses to Shadow, right? And they're like, all right, we got to find what's going on, actually from Gun. So, yeah, they have to regroup, and they regather themselves. You know where they go? They go to a Japanese cafe called the Child Garden. And when I say they play this whole scene up, and it changes the complete tone into some type of laffy-daffy, joking type of thing, they don't get a private room, no nothing. They got music blasting in the background. So I meet this colonel from Gun, who's close to the Shadow product, and he pretty much just spoon-feeds Sonic the exact backstory. There's no secret or nothing. Just, well, you know, Sonic, he's like you, but, you know, if you didn't have your family, your friends, well, damn. That's one way to explain it, buddy. Shit, just this kiss. I'm telling you, the themes of this movie is laddered so deep and so thick, you'll drown in it. My goodness. And then what I have in this meeting, it's a live Child Garden concert on which I don't even know what that means. They're out there singing, and then a robotic drone show up, and they blow up the place. Somehow, the colonel end up getting killed, and then a mysterious guy dressed in all black on a black motorcycle with a black helmet drives in, defeat the drones. And when I say defeat the drones, I'm not talking about they rapid fire missiles. They somehow freeze. Now, some might say, well, since these are Eggman drones, right, that they wouldn't attack this guy, because they know who he is, right? But these are drones hacked in by somebody else. So why would it matter? Unless he got some type of cheat code to it, it wouldn't matter. So he comes in and saves Team Atomic, blasts us off. The Colonel dies. I was just like, well, really, he's dead? Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he's dying. This is supposed to be the emotional dying part, which is just, when it was happening, I was just like, he's actually dying? Really? He's dead. Oh, he's gone. And hold on to this key for me. I won't trust nobody else besides from him. So instead of contacting Gunn or reporting to Gunn that they go do some more investigation, they choose to run from Gunn when Gunn showed up, and then to chase down the guy on the motorcycle. I won't blame you since you wasn't debriefed or informed anything by Gunn, but it's kind of just like you just kind of just left, and the Colonel's dead. You wouldn't think that you killed him. And that's what the lady assumes who brought them onto the mission, that they killed the Colonels right off the bat. They're working with Eggman, but she kind of assumes that they're gone bad. And they took a key from him, so I guess they assume they turned to them for the key. So they chase down the guy on the motorcycle, and it turns out to be Dr. Robotnik's assistant. Yeah, that's who it is. So how did he stop all these egg drones that were shooting missiles that just killed a man and potentially some innocent people, while the drones made no attempt at shooting him? Not none, even though they were hacked in and rewired by somebody else. And Eggman, it's not even Eggman right now, on which it's never explained how you survived the death egg tipping over. There was no parachute, there was no, he just held on, there's no magnetized boots, he just survived. Okay, so Eggman's assistant's like, hey, you're not some type of bad guy, you know, and it wasn't the doctor, because I can show you what the doctor's been doing. And we get this, we cuts away to a, I guess you could say a Mexican soap opera type thing, right? And it's just like this like out of nowhere, but I kind of get this, you know, it's gonna be referring to a TV show where it turns out the lady cheating with on her husband with her twin brother, and so on and so on. We catch her with Eggman, and you know, from this point in the movie, I thought, you know, is the movie's moving pretty fast, but you know, I think it's all right, right? I think it's, you know, it's all right, you know, right? Nothing spectacular so far, but it's all right, right? And you know, and that's when Eggman finds out, you know, somebody been using his drones, and we know the exact location of where it's at, right? They're gonna track him down. Eggman is coming back. He put on some weight, and he's gonna need some new clothes. And he get the whole thing when he snatches off, you know, his assistant's clothes, and so on and so on, and say, hey, make it fit here. But the man loses a whole shirt. But you look at Eggman's jacket, he got like hand sewn knitting parts on the back of it. Like, at what point of this man's shirt was used to make this bigger? I don't understand. But we catch up with Shadow. He's inside the a wrecked gun base outpost. Now we saw earlier that there was an incident involving Shadow when we got that light backstory with him, that he was being used and tested on, but an experiment happened. It blew up, and the professor who was behind it was thrown in jail. And that's all we got of it. From Shadow, when he goes back to the same base, that we got a flashback back when the Colonel was explaining, we get the actual details. This we get introduced to Maria, part of Shadow's backstory, right? And also, when the Colonel was also explaining, he also called Shadow the ultimate life form, and how he crashed down from space. Who made him? Nobody knows. Where did he come from? Nobody or anybody like that. Nope. Okay. Okay. So we get the Maria part. She comes in on the roller skates because Shadow sees a roller skate not too long after he enters this old gun base, right, in a mountain. And this reminds him of Maria when she first shows up. You know, we get to see a young version of the Colonel, so on and so on. And eventually she comes past, you know, Shadow's tank and sees him in there. And remember, no scientists come in here and stops her from doing anything. She walks up to the tank. Shadow turns around. She draws on the tank. You know, he's still scowling about it. And, you know, you can't see that he don't turn him into, with the black marker she got, into, you know, a rabbit, a bunny rabbit with a smile and so on, right? So then she puts her hands in the glass, and then Shadow put his hands in the glass. Shadow, you don't know who this person is. This is some stranger. And from this moment, it kicks off into a Maria and Shadow montage, where they're just doing things. He's racing her around. But somebody said, where did Shadow roller skates come from? It's never explained. What about his inhibitor rings? Never explained. So, couldn't we just have Dr. Jera Robotnik's grandfather introduce Maria to him? and that's how, if nobody else catches her, he does. And the thing they try to do with Jor is they don't want to show who the scientist is, period. That some might say, well, they don't want to spoil the big reveal that, so-and-so besides in the trailer, right? They're trying to, keep it inside the movie, right? How the movie and the trailer is filmed are two different things, right? So if that's going to be the case, right? Couldn't we just cast a younger Eggman since we revealed that Jor Robotnik is over 100 years old? So we couldn't cast a 60-year-old man with makeup to play a young Dr. Robotnik, just how they got a young guy to play the Colonel. And then when we see him older, looking just like Jim Carrey, it's implied that the man could have died, but he's still alive. That would have solved that problem. I hate when I watch a movie and I come up with a better script in 2 minutes. This is embarrassing. I hate when this shit happens. Damn. But they continue, and we get this montage of so-and-so, they crash into the food cart, and we don't spend a lot of time with Maria. Maria gets about a good 3 minutes of screen time. So some might say, wait a minute, could we just could have got the whole Maria thing, or gotten this stuff earlier? And then it cuts to Shadow waking up, and then you get, this movie could have been restricted way better, right? To quickly get that out of my stomach. At the very beginning, we get introduced to the space colony Ark, and Jor Robotnik, right? And the discover Sonic Shadow, as a part in the asteroid belt, so and so. But overall, up here they're testing the dangerous disease and so on and so on, and that's when they encounter Shadow, right? Shadow's all alone by himself, and then eventually, a few days after some testing where Shadow's getting tested on, he's alone, he feels isolated, he feels like an animal. That's when Jor introduced Maria to him. They started building a bond, so on and so on. And the other scientists believe it'd be good for Shadow because, it helped out with his social needs and his emotional type things, and they started becoming friends. This could be like the first 10 minutes of the movie, so on and so on. But then the vision started to get foggy. They started to flash back past him real quick. Something obviously happens, right? But it's never elaborated on. And that wakes up Shadow, right? The same way we saw him get waked up in the last movie. But just because he wakes up and starts to get disturbed, that's just one piece of the puzzle. It's when the machinery gets hacked and releases waist and arm guards, where it's just like, oh, we got a security, this is serious. And then it goes until the movie doesn't, so on and so on, right? But they don't do that. They don't do that. So, Shadow, we get this whole quick moment. Shadow and Maria have this quick discussion. Well, this is where the movie kind of slows down and try to delve deep into things. This is why I keep talking about, this pace is just all over the place. It blasts past other stuff that would be interesting. Then they try to wait, give at least 60 seconds to something where we try to feel something. But overall, I don't feel nothing towards Maria or to Shadow's relationship. It's just whatever. It's just there. It's never fleshed out. You have the games as a background, especially with one of the most cut-field games, the adventure games. How do you mess this up? How? So we get that, and then it cuts off, right? Because the incident did happen, but I don't believe we get the full picture of what happens until later, if I do recall. But then we get the introduction of the professor, and he talks to Shadow. And from this point, we already know that Eggman and Sonic's on the way. Eggman and the team shows up. We find out that Knuckles, after Robotnik suggested they split up, is afraid of ghosts. Because he's afraid of Casper, right? And that's when Shadow shows up and takes him out. Then we get to catch up with Tails and Robotnik's assistants, right? And they go on to how does it feel to be Sonic's assistant? And Tails explains, Team Sonic's is not assistants to Sonic. They're actually friends. They care about each other. They have meanings and relationships. It's more than just a team. They're more like family. And it's isn't it the same thing between you and Eggman? And the guy Stone is yeah, it is. So obviously it's not like that. And then Shadow flies down with the boots and takes those two out as well, right? And then the last one with Sonic, where since Sonic pretty much knows all of his backstory, it's just, just he runs in the Shadow. And Sonic, before he sees Shadow, just I understand Shadow, so on and so on. And then Shadow throws Sonic hard as fuck into to a metal piece of equipment. And he's like, how many times I gotta keep telling you this? I'm tired of giving you warning. Wham, knocks him out. That was some savage stuff right there. And throughout the whole movie, also another thing, it was just Airbo's Knuckles is pretty good. He never breaks out of character or sounds like he's, sounds like he's just Airbo. He says to be Knuckles the whole time. So is Keanu Reeves, right? So the trio wakes up, and Robotnik runs into... before the trio wakes up, Robotnik runs into his grandfather, and we get the whole scene Could it be? Could it? But it's played up more of a comedy type of thing. And you would expect where, Robotnik's is goofy and wacky, and Gerald's the more serious one, even though they can both get wacky, right? But no, they're both goofy, wacky the whole time. And, hey, you're alive, you have... They even learned that Robotnik had no other family or any knowledge of Maria's existence. He just grew up, pretty much you can call him an orphan. And overall, Gerald and them talk and have a few comedy gags, which it's not funny. It's just, this stuff was not funny, it's more absurd than anything else, and it's just like... I question why. Also, another thing. I skipped over something. But we catch up to it later. It shows back up. So Sonic team wakes up and, Robotniks are pretty much joining Gerald. And they're teaming up with Shadow. Here. And, I can't remember what... Oh, yeah. They came here to get the key from Sonic. Right? Shadow gets it from him because, it's in Tails' backpack. In which... You could have just left it on the Eggman ship, to be honest. Or anywhere else, please. You got Sonic rings. So, they get that. The two of them teaming up. Robotnik's gonna grow with his grandfather. And Shadow triggers a black hole. Right? Through a device. It's never elaborated on. It's never explained. It's almost like that black hole that came real handy later on in the movie. But, okay. He triggers a black hole with his device and his powers. And the team escapes by using the Sonic Ring and ricocheting it all over the place, and they escape, right? It destroys the entire mountain. But, back with Team Robotniks, the other key for the Eclipse cannon is inside gun headquarters. Highly guarded, highly secretive, right? And, backstory, when it's this case, they want to shut down the project because they believe Shadow is too dangerous, right? So they're running from the gun officers, and they turn a corner, and they got all this stored energy, and the colonel from gun tried to stop them from, hey, those are children. They do misfire with the laser gun anyway with these canisters. Now, I would have hoped there would have been more in the room for the explosion to be more impactful. And, Robotnik and Shadow just happened to be not that close to it, but Maria was sadly, obliterated from it, right? But now there's only a few of them, and it blows up. The same scene happens. No, yeah. This happens later. This happens later. I forgot when it happens. Oh, yeah. This happens later. This happens later. But overall, Team Robotniks team up. And Gerald want to spend time with Eggman since it's going to take them 4 hours. So, remember I told you the part I want to wait for. So, one of the coolest badniks throughout all the Sonic movies is easily the robotic crab. This is some of the coolest stuff. I don't know what it is. I'm one of those people that want to prefer the classic Eggman badnik colors. But this all black and white egg crab looks excellent. I can't deny. This egg crab looks fantastic. This egg crustacean looks excellent. But they go into this VR thing and have all these fun times. It would have been better, but that's all it is. And you start to slowly see that that Robotnik's assistant stone is getting pushed out, right? And it goes from there, right? And Team Sonic goes with Tom and his wife, and they bring him in, even though they've been knitting to do all these things. They're just saying how life is great, but they bring him in, and the whole objective is to get raid gun headquarters since they chose not to inform gun anything. They think they're fugitives, and they're going to use Tom and them as disguises. They're going to disguise as Tom's wife's sister, wife and husband, and that's how they'll get in the gun headquarters and so on and so on. And Knuckles going to break in case it's an emergency, right? So Robotnik goes in there with his skin-tight suit with his grandfather. And Gerald hints towards Shadow that he's going to have his revenge in more ways than he could ever imagine. This is hint towards number one that Mr. Gerald Robotnik is not a potentially good man. So he goes up with Eggman and he leaves Shadow with Agent Stone, right? So they go in there. So Operation Team Sonic, they go in there, invade it, and they have Tom's wife pull out the most ratchet impression to get past security, on which you need a commander level clearance, and you action ratchet somehow gets you through because you're mad. Okay. When it gets in, and they get to collect Tails wanna collect. There's the gun headquarters have security, right? They have these shields, right? So at the end of get to the shield, they're gonna have Tom and them put in a Tails UBS stick. They're gonna shut down the shields because they're gonna give Tails remote access. So when they put in the UBS, they realize Robotnik's got their own UBS in there. Do you think at any moment they think, well, we're going to take this out? No, they leave that UBS in there. That's stupid. That's dumb. So you're just going to leave both. So then we get into the absurd part of the movie where Robotnik and his grandfather get to the lasers that Sonic team talked about trying to get in there, right? Because they got to go in there blind. There's no schematics in the get right? And with their suits, because there's a scene earlier where I forgot what Gerald did to Robotnik, but he showed Eggman that he didn't truly care for it, for Eggman truly to a certain degree. So in this case, to get back at him, he pushes his grandfather into the lasers. He didn't test out the suits, so if the suits would have failed, Gerald would have been dead. Why? But I get through it, right? And at first, I thought the dance moment was going to go for 60 seconds. No, there is a full 2 to 3 minutes dance segments of the strangest, weird dances. And it just keeps going, and going, and going. I'm like, why? Why? Like, they should have ended like 2 minutes ago. Why is it still going? And it's not even good. It's bad. At least the one in Sonic 2 was decent. So they finally get to it. It's the Robotniks get to it first. And then when I realized, running out of time, Sonic says he's just gonna go in there. He plans on out speed racing the shields. He's about to get up to it, and this we get the scene where it's teased earlier where Tails helps in to save him, and he throws him in there just in time. Sonic catches up with a Robotnik. Now remember, guys, gun headquarters are aware that Sonic and how quick he could be. Do you think there's any type of security after Sonic blurs through that whole the front lobby? No. No, not at all. So he blows past them. Robotnik and them both get to it, and when the Robotniks get to the close to the key, they fall straight to the ground because of gravity. Sonic's climbing on them. He gets closer to it, and then he flies up. And it turns out the gun lady that brought Sonic in, well, she realized they were going for the keys, and everything's just gonna fall right into her hands, right? Besides from that, they bring in Tom, they bring in Tails. I guess I wasn't able to locate Knuckles. I guess he was put on he was posted in a further position. And she goes over the whole thing with the arc, so on and so on. But then something happens where it starts to malfunction, right? Because earlier Tails dealt with Sonic in Stone. How? Well, Shadow reveals to Stone that there could be more extra to Gerald's plan to a certain degree. Now, he only implies that there could be extra, but Stone takes this as a serious thing. So when Tails finds out that there's somebody there, he triggers the switch and flushes them out, right? But everybody's pretty much captured at this point. And I forgot what causes the gravity room to go haywire, but something triggers it to go haywire. And everybody's trapped. All the gun agents trapped. They're all trying to get the key. So eventually Knuckles busts in there, saves the day. But it don't go too well. And then next thing you know, next thing you know, the gravity room malfunctions. Everybody's able to get up and escape. The commander escapes with it. But Tom catches up with her, disguised as not the commander. The gun person that brought them in, the woman, she gets away with the key. So Tom decides himself as a colonel. And then as a colonel, he gets the key. But then runs in the Shadow. And gets decked by Shadow because he believes the colonel and they'll locked him up for 50 years, right? That's not what happens. But he hits Tom. And then Sonic shows up. As Shadow realizes he don't create the same thing that happened to him to Sonic to a certain degree. If Tom doesn't wake up, right? But only thing Shadow says, now you see how I feel. So Tom's wife and them show up, and it's revealed when Shadow goes back to Robotnik and them that the eclipse mechanic in London in the water, and it flies up and up and up, and they go towards space. Tom is put into the hospital, and Tails and Sonic team is all upset and sad, and Sonic gets mad and starts to go against the whole trust your heart type of thing. He's about to fight Knuckles for the Master Emerald, but instead of Knuckles fighting, he gets better, and he decides to not fight him. But the Master Emerald is guarded by an important person. He's guarded by fucking Wade. He's guarded by Wade. Sonic shows up for Wade he shows up through a ring. just easily takes it and dashes off. He turns supersonic and then dashes off towards the Eclipse cannon. So Shadow is needed to start up the Eclipse cannon because it uses his chaos energy that he just naturally has in his body for some apparent reason. So I had a critique of not having real Chaos Emeralds along as the Master Emeralds, and fusing those two things was a dumb idea, and this is why. Because Shadow is way stronger than Sonic. Knuckles and Tail all put together. So Shadow triggers the Eclipse cannon, and Stone try to tell Robotnik that, don't trust his grandfather, there's more to his plan. Robotnik says he's jealous of his grandfather, hangs up the phone, and pretty much fires Stone. Well, damn. Okay. So, Shadow fires up the cannon, and Gerald reveals that this whole time that he didn't really care for Eggman. He will never be like anything like Maria, and they're gonna blow up the planet. They're not gonna rule the planet with the Eclipse cannon. He's gonna kill everybody. Since they took Maria away from him, he's just gonna obliterate the planet. X-Man crashed. I do like that when Gerald gets serious here. I do like that. I do like when Gerald gets serious and he's mad. But Gerald's madness in Sonic Adventure 2 was done so much better, especially with the whole snapping point to him wanting to destroy everything. Because at first, when he first tells Eggman he's just going to destroy Gun's headquarters, but this is where he reveals that, he's planning on destroying the whole planet. And it's like 10 minutes until it's full charge, right? So this is where Super Shadow Sonic shows up. And this is where the movie goes from man to outright garbage. He busts through. He fights Shadow, and this is where Robotnik turns his back on Gerald because he don't want to destroy your war, he want to rule it, and he starts fighting his grandfather. Now remember, they both got nanomachine tech in their suits, right? So Gerald makes a big fist. The only thing Eggman ever does make is a drill, in like some Mantis arms. And the Gerald the Robotnik fight is just weird. It's just strange. It's stupid. Cause Gerald turns into a scorpion with his arms and grows a scorpion tail with the nanites, and Dr. Robotnik around, and the scene is stupid. It really is. It's just like Jim Carrey, like whoever wrote this script, put the crack down. Like stop it. Like why? So you might expect him. Well, we go get this. Cause his Shadow's already so powerful. Like Sonic needs to go Super Sonic. Well, they'll be even, right? Well, no. They clash for a bit. They fall down, right? And they both grab for the Master Embers, right? And we get Super Shadow. They both go super. So what was the point of giving Shadow the Chaos Energy? So what chance does Sonic has now? If he was already by default weakening Shadow, now we got a Super Shadow. So the fight between Shadow and Sonic lasts 60 seconds. We spend more time with Eggman, the Eggman men fighting each other than Sonic versus Shadow. And Sonic gets whooped, and Shadow gives this excellent monologue to him. What happened to your friends? What about Tom? So Sonic gets mad, punches him once, he lands on the moon, and before he does the final blow, he pretty much remembered what Tom said or so and so. So you was about to whoop Knuckles' ass for the Master Emerald, and now you want to remember Tom? And Shadow brought up, you don't left your whole, where's your team? You don't left your team behind? That's not what heroes do. The movie's not good. So pretty much on the moon, the next scene, they're both depowered down. They have a conversation. Shadow becomes a good guy. They both go super again, and they're charged at the Eclipse cannon. So Gerald beats Robotnik. Robotnik's about to fly out the window. The Eclipse cannon is about to fire. Robotnik is saved by Tails, who comes out of nowhere. I guess he used a ring or something, but I thought the rings could go to a place that it doesn't, like no one has ever seen. Tails just shows up somehow. Save Robotnik. Gerald gets knocked into the chaos energy that's charging up the Eclipse cannon, and he dies. So the beam still fires because Gerald, in his Scorpion form, destroyed the control panel. So the two Super Hedgehogs blocks the beam as X-Man, Knuckles, and Tails turns it, and it doesn't hit Earth, but it cleaves like 1/5 of the moon off the moon, and Sonic goes out of Super. and he falls down to the earth, and Tails goes out to save him. So some might say, how come space has no effect on Tails with no armor or anything, no breather? It doesn't matter at this point. It just doesn't. And so the beam is stopped, but with all this extra energy, the place is going to implode. And when it implodes next to the Earth, it's going to blow up. So Shadow goes super, stays in Super, and him and Robotnik is going to be good guys. Robotnik calls up Stone, saying, you know, he chooses to be a good guy, and I'm sorry, you apologize, and that you're the only one killed from me. As you remember that leaked footage that came out, where the leaked footage is real. Shadow pushes the eclipse scanning away, and it detonates not that far from the Earth, but it detonates, not harming the Earth, and you know they're dead. So Tails falls unconscious, going through the atmosphere. Knuckle comes in, gliding from space, and saves both of them. I guess they don't need breathing space at all. And the movie's over. But if they would have ended right here, it just would have been bad. What made the movie garbage is the post-credit scene. So Tom is alright, he just got a broken arm, he's alright. They finish up the camping trip, and then they do the race again. But Sonic races too far after the credits, right? And we end up in this unknown place, and you get the introduction of Metal Sonic. Yeah, right, guys? And Metal Sonic gets knocked around like he's nothing. And then more Metal Sonic shows up to back him up from the shadows. And then a hammer comes out of nowhere, destroys all the Metal Sonics, and it's revealed to be Amy. This shit is garbage. Just trash. Trash. Like this, none of this stuff is good. Like this is absolute garbage. Who wanted this? Like, I'm upset I wasted $10 for this fucking movie. I'm actually pretty mad. I can't yell like I used to. I'm not trying to have no stroke or nothing, so it's just, But the movie's garbage, and it's sad that a blueprint that should have been an easy home run was butchered. And maybe the reason why Eggman, what Dr. Jerry Robotnik won't spend that time, that they said they already had a schedule, right? So I thought they were going to wait a day. No, they was just going to waste days in VR, right? So what if they would have spent the day stalling to go to London for Gerald to actually get the no Eggman? Because he knows that he's going to destroy the Earth. He knows that he's going to kill everything and everyone for Maria. So he's going to do that. Then why not actually have him have all these moments with Eggman in real life and give Eggman the experience that he wanted to have all those years alone? Just, you know, Gerald was locked up. So how did Gerald get out of jail? He made Gun and Eclipse Clanning, and that parting him, and he was out on the streets. So with that, he hacked into the earlier gun prison and let him out. So this whole time, and it should have properly informed Sonic what was going on. Why do that? Overall, this movie's garbage. I felt like I wasted my money. I didn't get the final fight I deserved. Now there is a good gun Eclipse Cannon drone fight with Super Sonic and Shadow, but that lasts what, 30 seconds? It would be great for AMV though. What? Ain't it, guys? Besides from that, it's nothing. It's just like there is no ultimate final fight. There is no ultimate versus the Eclipse Cannon. It's like a bunch of so like the one thing I realized. Remember I made that video of the just enough mentality. To some people, this should be just enough. This is not. I would have preferred them not even to bring in Shadow at this point. I was already concerned before when they announced that in the Sonic 2. Now it's confirmed it was never going to be a good idea because they didn't know what the hell they was doing. It should have been an easy home run, and they butchered it. And the way they introduced Amy, I thought, well, you know, got this dark, cramped place. Well, we're going to get introduced to Rogue, right? Nah, we get introduced to Amy with a hood. Where the fuck Amy come from? That's not going to get explained. Who made all these Metal Sonics? That's not going to get explained. And I heard a report that Sonic Movie 2 can be going on. No, no. The first movie's alright. The second movie's good, but had its problems. This movie is the worst one of the trio. It's absolute garbage. Just trash. They wasted Shadow. They wasted his backstory. They wicked Gerald Robotnik. And it was an easy home run story, and they butchered it, mutilated. And it's just like, I don't understand how this shit happens. Like this shit. When I say it's bad, like this is not good. I was jerking in my chair for some of the scenes in this damn movie. The multiple dance sequences. Remember I told you the multiple montages. Let's count. There's a Maria montage. There's an Eggman return to form montage. There's the Eggman and Gerald montage. What else? Like there's like another montage as well where it's just, what's about all these fucking montages? Why? Why is Shadow and Maria's relationship a montage? Why? And then why didn't Gerald ever explain what happened to Eggman's parents? Did they die? Did Gunn eliminate them because they could have known too much? No? Oh. Like always, just not gonna explain that. And to some people, this should be good enough. Not for me. This movie is absolute garbage. Burn all copies. I did not enjoy this at all. And the worst, even worse is I had to sit and ponder because since I've taken the bus, not even worse. Like I said, some highlights. There are a few highlighted good moments. There are some good shadow scenes. I do enjoy the moment where Gerald turns on Robotnik. You know, the crab back neck is amazingly designed. It's the best Eggman design of any Eggman type product throughout the whole thing. I don't know. Sonic 2 just seems like a way better movie put together. Because even with the not explaining the Tails thing, it was needed to be explained, but it wasn't so drawing to the plot where it's just like, why? And then like it's implied that Shadow and Eggman is dead, like they're just done. You killed him in his own movie. You had the goal to make the logo of the movie adventure. Like this movie ain't good, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be back, but overall, like the movie's effing garbage, man. It's trash. If you enjoy this slot fest, then this is what it was made for. Congratulations, but to me, it's trash, and this franchise needs to die at this point. I was all open arms and curious. I was hyped up from the trailers, but really, like really, this is what we got? Really? Really? And then like Sonic was like I don't know what it is compared to like any parts of this movie like there are times where he did the voice and he was like starting to sound real irritating. I don't know why. Compared to the second movie, I don't know. He did make a few good quotes. They made a few good quotes, so on and so on. Besides from that, I don't recommend this movie. Maybe your children may enjoy it, but it's just like there's no good final fight. There's not really a good final conclusion. I do like that Eggman gives his life to save the planet, that he's died to rule so much, but it's just the way they did it, the execution, it's just I don't want a movie to fail, but I don't know. I don't know how much money this movie gonna make. I don't think the movie deserves it. I don't know. I hate the movie. What's the final score? A 5. Average at best. In my opinion, garbage. Hope you guys liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know your guys' thoughts opinion about Sonic Movie 3, because in my opinion, it's trash. It's just trash. I'm extremely disappointed. My name is WK, and peace.